Hello. So in the last video, we have done the folders scheme. So in that, we have completed the how the folder structure is work, and we have to follow the folder structure to create every ATT class, the service class, and we have also seen the what is uses of application.properties and form.xml. So in today's video, we are going to create one complete CRUD operation. So in that, we are going to create one user and their what you say webs that we will perform the operation CRUD operation, that is create, read, update, and delete. So let's start with a new project. So I'm going to create the new project. In that, I will just select the Spring Starter project. So in that we have to give the information. So that is name of the project. So I will give user application and I will group as a com.codersart. The type is Maven. Packaging is in jar and I'm going to use the Java language and Java version is 17. So you can use the 20, 11 or 8 also, but I am using the 17. The description is I'm going to use as Spring Boot for user. So I will give the description. You can give any description to your project, and I'm using the package as a same. And after that, I will just click on the next. So it will ask the how many dependencies you need. So first of all, I need the Spring Data JPA for the persist data from the SQL. Then Spring Web. This is for to use the RESTful API. And this is for to update the application whenever we change the application. And MySQL driver. So I need that also because I'm using the MySQL driver to save the data. And also the Lambo because I don't need to create every method for every port. So it will give the boilerplate code like a getter setter. So that is why I'm using that. And after that, I'm going to use the Spring Boot version is 3.1.3 and that is the and I will just click on the next finish. So it will create our project. So it will take the time. So before it is going to do that, so after that we will just create the one database in the MySQL server. If you don't have the MySQL server, so just you have to download this MySQL server. The official website is dev.mysql.com. Downloads and install. So we have to just download this file and we have to run that, and it will create the application. And we have to just enter the your password that we are created in the that application, and we have to run that, and it will show like this. And we have to just write the query like create database user application. So you can do give any name. So I am just giving the user application because I have to give that name in the Spring Boot. So I will just enter. After that, it will create one row and we have to use that database. So I will just use user application and I will just enter the MySQL and I will just give the information like show that is uh, show tables. So it will shows the tables if it is available because we have just created the database. So there is no tables present in the user application. So we go to the our application. So it has created all the dependencies. It is downloaded and it is going to store in the Maven dependencies. If you see the all the dependencies he has downloaded, and if you see the pom.xml, so it is going to use the version 3.1.3 Jakarta, and the Spring Boot starter GPU we have added it. Then web dependency, then dev tools, then MySQL connector, then Lombok, and this dependency is to test the application. So it will do that also. We don't have to add that, it is automatically added. And these are the plugins that will connect our application to Maven and Lombok. And so first of all, we have to create one application. So before that, we have to add the in the application dot properties information. So first is server port. So server dot port equal to. So we are going to give the server port is 4646. So if you want to give any server port, that means your application will run on this server. So I'm going to give the server port number is 4646, and we have to insert all the information related to MySQL. So I have given in the this table. So if you want this information, I will provide in the video in the description. So first one is the Spring data source dot URL. So this is the URL of your database. That is, it will connect with your database by using this. So we have to just give your database. So our database name is that is user application. So it will connect that. Driver class name is com.mysql. So if you see the driver class, so it is our driver. So MySQL connector J. So that is the thing we are going to use. So jdbc.driver. And the username Spring data source dot username is my username is root. So if you have the same username that before creating this application, you have asked about the username and password. So we have to enter that username. And my password is, I'm going to insert that password. So this is my password. So after inserting this, so this is the Hibernate DDL auto generation, because we are not going to create one by one table. We are just creating the entity class, and this work will be done by this. So it will create our classes and updation. That means if I change the entity class, so it will update in our table in the MySQL by using this line, and it will show the SQL queries in by using this. So it will be true because I want to see the which query is running, and it will the and this last one is the it will connect our Spring to the Spring MVC. That is why path matcher. So whenever we try to give the class name or any REST example REST API, so it will check that. So these are all we have to copy that, and we have to paste in our application dot properties, and we have to save that. And after that, we have to create one by one user application. So first, this is our main application. Whenever we want to run the application, we have to run through this. After that, sorry. So we have to create one entity class. So I will create that. So I will just create one package com dot entity. So I will give package name as entity. I will just give the finish, and I will just enter the package name, that is class name, user. I don't need the main method. Superclass is java.learn.object. So all the classes we are going to create, the superclass is the object. So that is why we have to insert the constructor and superclasses. So we are going to consider that after creating the class. So I will just click on the finish. So it will create our user class. So in that, first we have to give our ID. So I will give private because we are going to use the getter setter. And encapsulation, we have to do that. So that is why I have give the private. Then I will give the data type as integer. And I will give the user ID as a variable name. And it will be the auto generation. So I will just give the ID that is present in the Jakarta. So I will import that. And after that, I will just give the generation type, that is generation type. So I need the generation type to be what you say. sorry. So we have to first insert the generation value. In that, we have to use the strategy equal to generation type, that is auto. So that means this value it will be generated automatically. We don't have to generate that. So it will done by MySQL and it will store the value, next value, and it will add to the this user. After that, I will give the private string name, then private string, then password, then private string email. I will give that. And I want to make this class as an entity. So I will just first import the entity annotation. So it will make this class as an entity. So it will create the one database table in the MySQL by using this. And after that, I'm going to use the Lambo to get the getter setter. So to get the getter setter, we have to use data. So it will invoke the Lambo. And after that, we have to use the what you say getter constructor. So I will use the all argument constructor. Then we have to use no argument constructor. And because we are not using all the information, so we have to use what you say the source, that is constructor, and we have to use the constructor using without using user ID, and we have to generate that. So my Lombok is not working. So I will show in the next video how the Lombok is work. So I will just remove the Lombok. We have to add one file. So I will show you in the next video. So before that, I will just use the getter setter inbuilt. So that is getter setter. So I will just import that, select all. I will generate that, and I will just remove these. I will need that. And after that, I will just import the toString method. Yes, generate. So it will generate. So if you see, I have added the all the information user ID, name, email, and password. That is, and I have used the getter setter and also the toString method. So we have to just save that. After that, we have to create one another package, that is uh, repository. And in that, we have to connect that into our MySQL. So I will just create interface because we have to in, extend one in repository. So that is why we have to use interface. So I will just give user repo and I will just give the finish. We have to extend JPA repository. So in that we have to first give the annotation as repository that is present in the Spring Boot framework, and we have to give user because we are going to apply on user, that is a user. So it will connect. We don't have to create queries, so that is why we have to use the repository. And the data ID is we are going to use is integer. So integer. So if you have another ID for like you see the my ID is user ID, that is data type is integer. If your user ID is string, so we have to give the name as here as a string. So that is the thing, and we have to just save that. So this class will interface will do that. We don't have to create the separate queries like to get the information, to find the information. So it will do that, and we can also define our user define queries also in here. So it will create one method, and we can use that method to get the information from the database. So this class will do that. After that, we are going to create the user class, that is a service class. So I will just give the service as is a what we say package name, and I will just click on finish. Then I will just give the class. First, I will create the interface, and I will just implement the that user service that implement the methods that are present in the interface. So this is the interface. So first method is to public, because we are going to use that method in the other class packages also. That is why I am giving the public. The return type is user. Then I will just give add user. In that we are going to pass the user details, and it will return the user, that is what we say, with the ID. So it will return that. So that is why we are going to do that. Then second method is public user update user. So it will update the user. First of all, we will view the user, then user details, and public user. We have to read the that user. So we will read user. So it will return the user. So we have to just pass the integer ID. So it will do that. Sorry, I just integer ID. And after that, we have to just delete the user. So user, delete user. You can also give the updated information like in the string also. So I'm just returning the updated user so to see the what updation has done. So that is why I have changed the data return type. So you can also give here also user or ID also. So you can do that also. And after that, we have to just go to we have to create one class that implements the user service. So I will give user IMPL. So it will implement the all the information. So we have to just implement this interface, that is user service, and we have to import the unimplemented services. So I will just import that. And before that, we have to auto wire that we have created one repository. So we have to auto wire that. So I will just auto wire that user repo. I will give as variable name. And to auto wire that, we have to use auto wire annotation. So what will we it will do? So it will call this class and automatically invoke all the methods that are present in the class. And we can also we can use that methods directly without creating the class and all these things. So it will invoke all the classes. So we have to just pass the information. So first of all, we are going to add the user. So I will just use the user repo dot save to add the every user to the our database, that is in table. We have to use the save method. It will save the user. So we have to just use user. So I will just change the capital letter here. It will give our information correctly. Save that. I just change the name user, and I will just and it will return our user with the information. So that is user one, and we have to return that user one. So it will return the user with the ID directly after saving the element. So how this is work? So it will first get the user, then it will save the data to the database. And if you want to view the information, like you have to check the email that is present in the database, we have to give the condition if and else. So I'm not giving that condition. If you want to, you can give the condition like if that user is already present or not, then we can first get that user by using email. And we have to find that if that is present, then we have to return the exception, all these things. So you can do that. And after that, if you want to update the user, so we have to just user user equal to, here we are going to pass the user with ID. So it will, what it will do, it will first save the user, that is user. First, it will check the user that is present in the our database or not. If it is present, so it will update that user, or that thing we are passing to. And if not present, so it will save the data with a new ID, and it will give, sometimes it will give the exception or not, so that is present it on the dependency. So it will do that user one. So if you give the exception, like if a user is not found, so it will give the exception. If not, it will add the new user to the our database. And so next one is we are going to get the data by using ID. So user repo dot find by ID, because we are going to get the data by using ID. So I will just find by ID. So I will pass the ID. So it will going to return our user. And what is it? Yes, it is optional, because if we not get the user, so it will throw the exception. That is, it will optional, because whenever we find the user, like that user name ID is not present, so it will not give our user. So we, to get the actual user, so we have to pass the method, that is user one dot get. So it will give the user in, it will give in the optional. So we want in the user data type, so that is why we have to convert that, and that method is the get. So it will convert that to our required format. And to get delete the ID, so first of all also we have to do the find the ID, that is user. So I will just find the optional. We can also do like user repo dot delete. So with the ID, so you can do that by ID also, delete by ID, and we have to just pass the ID, and it will return delete the ID. So I think it don't have the return type. So just I will check that. If it is a return type, so it can return that. So delete by ID. So it don't have the return type. So first of all, we will find the user. So then we will return delete that. So I will just find by ID, and I will find that. I will store that user. So it is optional. So we have to change that to the optional. Then I will just change the user one equal to user dot get. So it will give the user one, and we have to just return that user one. Before that, we have to also delete that user. So to delete, there is one method, repo dot delete. So we have two methods. So if you want to delete by entity, and if you want to delete by ID also, so we can delete by ID. So there is one method. And if you want to delete all, you can do that. So these are the all the methods to delete that. You can also delete by ID. So I'm going to use the first one, delete by user. So just do that, and it will return the user. And this method does not return the user. So that is why first I have create by using the find the user that are present in the table. I will show store in the user database, that is data type, and I will just delete that data that is present in the table, and I'll just return that user with there. I'm going to save that, and after that we have to create one, what we say, controller class. So I will just use the controller package to control that. I will just give the controller name as user controller. And in that, I have to just, before that, we have to also give the this class as service because we are going to use this class as service. So what will it will do? So it will call all the methods and use the this approach. So I will just save that, and after that we have to give as REST controller because we are going to creating the REST API. So we have to control that REST controller. You can also give the REST mapping, request mapping. So before that, I will just give user. Like if you have multiple controller, so you can control by one. So if you are like I have the methods for user also like adding, updating, deleting, and reading, and other has as like a customer has other method that are same what you say mapping. So that is why I have used the user request mapping every class. So if you have multiple controller, you can do that, and in that we can give the same URL for the method. So I'm first import the service class, that is user. So I will just import that private user service, user service, and we have to give the active wire, and after that we have to create one by one method. So public response entity, what will it will do? It will return in the response. That means it will return in the our format. So it will return that. I will just return the user and add user. In that, we have to just import the user. What happened? So we have to import the user IMPL, I think. If, if I remove this, no. So we have to open this class and we have to pass the user also. So that is user. So this is a request body. That means we are passing as a response. So we have to request body. We have to give the annotation as request, sorry, request body because we are going to pass in the JSON format. So that is why. And this also convert the user detail in the JSON format. So that is why we are going to use the response entity. And we are to going to post the application. Post means we are going to store that application in the system. So that is why we are going to use the post mapping. In that we have to give add. So it will add that, and we have to just call that method add method user service dot add. It will add the user, and also we are going to store that user because we have to return that user one, return new response entity user one, and also we have to return the HTTP request, HTTP code. Think we have to use HTTP status. Yes, HTTP status. That is the second one. And we have to give created. So these are the request code. So it will create that. That is the 201 is the code that will return whenever we try to run the application. I'm going to show you in the Postman. After that, we have to create for also public response entity response entity. We have to type the correct name. So that's why I'm getting the error user. The first one, second method is we are going to update that, update user. Then I'm going to give also the request body. So that is why I'm going to import that user. So that is a user data type user. Then I will just pass here the what we say put method because we are going to update that put mapping and we are going to give update and I'm going to just copy this and I'm going to just change the update user method. It will update and I'm just give here okay. The status code is if you see the status code, I'm going to show you the status code that will be 200. So it will give you the status code. I'm just copy the whole code and I will just paste here for delete also. I will just change the delete, change the request body to integer ID. I will just change the method also. Delete, that is ID. I will just delete that user. And here we are going to use the path variable. You can use the path param also and path variable. So I'm going to use path variable integer. I'm going to give as in the bracket as ID. And here we have to pass that also in the curly bracket ID. So whenever we try to delete, we have to pass the ID. So it will delete that. And also to get the date, so here we have to change the mapping time delete. We have to import that also. And after that, we have to just get the method that is read user. I'm just changing the user method that is read user from delete to get mapping because we are getting the data from the user. So I will just give the read and the response is okay, okay, okay. Yes. I'm going to save that and I will just run the application from this. To run that, we have to click on here also, and you can also do by using this. We have to run as Spring Boot application. It will ask the permission. I will just give the permission. So it is asking the permission. So we'll just give the permission. Yes, so it is going to create our databases and all the information. Yes, so if you see, this has created the user with the sequence value is 1. So we are going to see in the next video how to run the application that is in the Postman, how to generate the data and create the user. So we are going to do that. So thank you.